En español.
Bueno,
Vamos.
entonces mi consejo para cualquiera que quiera venir a estudiar aquí a los Estados Unidos.
So, all right. So let's start. Can you briefly introduce yourself and share about your background in El Salvador?
Mhm. Yeah, so my name is Allan Panameño, and I'm 20 years old. I'm currently studying here at BYU, Idaho, and I spent my whole life in El Salvador. Like, actually, before my mission, I wasn't contemplating to come and study here in the US.
Mhm.
I thought I'd be studying there in El Salvador, but then the opportunity arose, so that's why I'm here.
Good. So, how did you, uh, how did the idea of learning English and studying in the US come about for you?
Yeah, so it's interesting because at least my parents and my grandparents, they they don't know English.
Mhm.
So that was an idea from my mom that she started to have, like, hey, I want my kids to know a second language, right? So she started to go to college to be a professor, and while she was taking classes there in college, she put me in some English programs when I was like 10 years old. So that's how I started to learn, because my mom wanted us to speak English because she didn't have the opportunity. My grandparents didn't have that opportunity. So she was like, no, I want my children to know English. So I'm grateful with her because it was like her idea. Absolutely.
What were the challenges you faced while studying English?
Mm, so at least for me, I think the challenges came when I started to apply here in college, because you know that you have to do the TOEFL just to certify that you can speak English, or you have to do the ACT. I had to do the ACT, that is like English, math. So all those things they didn't teach you. They don't teach
Mhm.
you that. It's like they
Mhm.
just teach you some vocabulary about school, about supermarkets, or airport vocabulary, restaurant vocabulary, but they never taught me something related to math, science, and all that.
Mhm.
So I think that was the hardest part, because I was totally shocked when I did the ACT,
Mhm.
because I couldn't understand the vocabulary and all that first time. I have to do it twice. So then I found a program that they helped me to study the ACT with me, and they prepared me to with the TOEFL to learn how to write essays, how to speak in front of people. So then I felt confident to do the exam and all that. But
Mhm.
before that, they just prepared me to have a normal conversation, but never like in an academic um, themes, right? So
Mhm.
I think that was the hardest part.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a little bit about ACT later on, but were there any specific resources or methods that you found particularly helpful in your language learning journey? Because you were talking about like was that like a company, or were you learning English in everything you talked about in high school, or?
Yeah, so at school, I have a subject called English, but we just had that class like twice a week.
Mhm.
So it wasn't that helpful, right? Like, they taught you some stuff, how to pray in English, or how to say thank you and welcome in English, but it wasn't that intense. So what helped me is to go to a private program during the afternoons. Uh, that it was 4 days a week. So I did that 4 years, and I think that's what helped me then, because then they suggested me to go to that program about the TOEFL and the ACT, because that program with the TOEFL and ACT requires some certification that I had gone to any private programs before. So I think that was the most helpful thing. Obviously, it was a big sacrifice for my parents because private classes are more expensive. But I think that's what prepared me, because that opened the doors for me to find that other programs that prepare me for my academic journey.
Good. So you basically prepared the TOEFL test and the ACT exam at the same time?
Yeah.
Good. So how long did it take for you to prepare for those exams? Because you said you took the ACT twice.
Yeah, so I did all these my last year of high school, just before my mission, because I wanted to serve my mission when I was 18, my volunteer service at church. So I went to those programs all year. So I did the TOEFL and I did great. So then I had more time to prepare for the ACT again. But I spent all that year preparing.
Okay, so can you explain a little bit what ACT looks like and how did you prepare for it?
Yeah, so the ACT, it's about math, science, language, and everything is in English. So I think math, it's a little bit similar of what we learn in school, the topics that you learn in high school, but the vocabulary in science, it's really hard for an international student, I think, because they talk about chemistry, physics, biology, and I think my native language is Spanish, and at least even for me in Spanish, it was hard, like to memorize all those terms, right, for science. So then learning those in English was just a headache, totally a headache.
Yeah, very bad.
So I think that's why people should prepare with time to do the ACT, because they will face the challenges to learn new vocabulary that you haven't learned in the normal programs that when they teach you English in your country.
Well, it seems like you had a lot of preparations coming to the US and study, but how did you decide on studying here in the US?
So this is an interesting question because, as I said before, I wasn't contemplating to come here and study, but then one of my dad's friends, he suggested me to come. He was like, hey, you have a good GPA in high school, and here in BYU, Idaho, it's not that expensive as other colleges we have here in the US. So he helped me a lot just to know how to register here, what to do in El Salvador to go and apply for my visa and all that. So he was a great blessing for me because he guided me through all the process that I needed to do. He was always there asking me like, hey, how are you doing? Are you ready to with these papers and all that? So that's how I started, and then I applied.
Good. How long did it take for you to finish the process of applying for a college here in the US?
I applied right before my mission, and I was in my 8th month of service when I received a letter from BYU Idaho that I was accepted. So right before my mission, I sent my TOEFL, my ACT, and I had done all that process to get my visa, and they gave it to me. So I was just waiting while I was serving in my mission to see if I was accepted or not. So it took me around 8 to a year to wait to see the response from them.
Great, that is great. So now you are studying here in the US, right? Can you share some challenges or experience that you've encountered while studying here in the US?
So first, being far from your family, I think it's a big factor for you
Mm-hmm.
because I have been always being really close to my parents and my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
So being here in the US is that you're by your own, and here in Rexburg, that it's like a little town nowhere, uh, with a lot of snow. It's just like it can be a little depressing. But
Yeah.
what I did is first just to have a positive mindset to think, well, this is because I want a good future for me, for my future wife, my future children,
Mm-hmm.
and I did calls with my family every night
Mm-hmm.
because I really needed their support. And then when I was here, gladly the professors were great. Like
Mm-hmm.
they treat me the same way as the other students.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for an international student, it can be a little bit shocking just to because everything is in English right now. All the classes are in English. Your roommates, most of them will just speak English. So just to be prepared with that, uh, because you will face that. Also, the food that it's a little bit different from my country. That was a little bit hard too,
Mm-hmm.
but I think just to have a good mindset to think that this will be for your future and think positive. Like try to get a job, enjoy your classes, take time to study, do sports. I think those things helped me to just keep going, and then of course you know people around the way that
Great. That is great. So, how did you adapt to the cultural differences between El Salvador and the U.S.?
yeah. So the good thing about Rexburg is that there are a lot of international students, like from Africa, from South America, from Asia. So I think that at least the culture here it's really open to receive others. So I think that wasn't a problem for me because most of the people I could find Latinos if I wanted to join them
Yeah.
and go to the party, right, and dance for a while, or I could just eat with them and cook pupusas, which is my national dish in El Salvador. So
¿Qué es pupusas?
pupusa, it's like a tortilla filled with cheese, pork,
Mm-hmm.
beans, and you eat that with tomato sauce. So it's really good.
Como quesadilla?
Kind of, kind
Mm-hmm.
of like a quesadilla, but it's like circular, and you can
Mm-hmm.
eat it with salad and tomato sauce. So it's really good. But the good thing is that there were other Latinos here where I can connect also, and so that's how I try to still connect with people from my country or from the same region, right?
Since you're talking about like culture, traditions, and everything here in the U.S., were there any cultural aspects or traditions that you found particularly interesting or challenging to understand?
I don't think so because I always have that mindset to say, well, if I'm living here in US, let's try to just adapt the culture as much as I can. So for example, we don't celebrate Halloween, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like here people love it. But so we had Halloween last year and my boss asked me to dress up to represent our office. And it was my first time doing it. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I just found a good costume, a pirate's costume, and then I did it, and it was a great experience because a lot of kids were really happy when they saw me
Mm-hmm.
like a pirate because they were pirates as well. So when you think about it, when you're in another country, try to get the best you can from them because
Mm-hmm.
people can always want to share their traditions right with you if you are like open to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you close yourself to others, that will be harder.
Yeah. All right. So coming to the end, I just want to ask you what advices would you give to someone from a country that speaks a Latin language, meaning French, Portuguese, Romanian, uh, Espanol, all of the Latin language that are out there. What are your advices for those people who aspire to learn English and also study abroad, like here in the US or Canada or in England, like basically in a English speaking country?
Important part is to don't be afraid to make mistakes. I think we usually don't believe in our potential that we have, and of course we will not have the same accent as here, or the vocabulary can be hard. But just don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you will learn along the way new vocabulary or new ways to work with others. So
Yeah,
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 don't be afraid to make mistakes, because people here will understand what you are saying, and
yeah,
and they will see
yeah,
your
yeah,
decision,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. That is really true because like I've been studying English since I was like 14, but I still make mistakes, you know. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, "Ooh, that came out not good," and sometimes she'll be like, "What did you say?" But I'm like, "Oh, this is not
But you
my."
know that's good, because you after I think, well, I didn't say this correctly. You're like, oh, but then you fix it next time. You're like,
Yeah,
okay, so I didn't say this correctly. Next time I'll fix it.
yeah,
So you still
and
need to think
that
about that.
yeah, and that's one of like the misconception that people have. Like, hey, when you come to the
You have to
US,
be perfect.
you have to talk like them. Because for me, I'm from Madagascar, and I like even though I try really hard to like talk like them, they can still feel that my accent is from abroad, not from the US. And I don't mind that because it's not my language.
Yeah, and they understand that.
So it's part of like your identity. That's why I'm like, no, it's good. Okay, en español.
Bueno,
Vamos.
entonces mi consejo para cualquiera que quiera venir a estudiar aquí a los Estados Unidos o cualquier país que hable inglés es que no tengan miedo de equivocarse. O sea, en su pronunciación, en la manera en la que dicen las cosas o en la que piensen que están diciendo las cosas. No tengan miedo, porque de los errores se va aprendiendo, y pues uno nunca va a tener el mismo acento que los nativos, y está bien. O sea, porque es tu manera de hablarlo, y claro que en el proceso vas mejorándolo, pero solo no tengan miedo de cometer errores, porque es totalmente normal. No tienen que hablar inglés perfectamente.
Okay. Gracias. It's like me talking in Spanish. No tengo miedo.
Ajá.
Ay, 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 ay.
Spanish is great. I know.
Español está complicada. Ay, ay, ay.
Hay que practicar.
Pero ya, tengo que practicar, ¿verdad? Pero especially like at work, hay muchas latinos y latinas del Caribe, del Mexico, everywhere. So, but it's hard, you know. It's like talking, but like most people that are like from Dominican Republic, and there's a lot of people that I work with. They are from Puerto Rico, and their Spanish is really different, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm trying really hard. I think last week I had to explain something because, like, you know, my work is like, you know, dealing with associates, and some of them don't speak English. What they know is just like, hi, how are you? And then sometimes you have to explain like, hey, for example, I had to explain that you have to come here tomorrow and do this and this and this and this. But it took me like when I'm talking English like that, it doesn't take me a long time to explain, but with Spanish, I'm like, oh, uh, tienes que venir aquí, and for me,
El martes, miércoles. Yeah.
when I talk in English and then switch to Spanish, it doesn't click right away. So,
Yeah.
but because it's not my language, but if it's like English to my language, English to French is also kind of hard because I have to switch my tongue to
Mhm.
because the way we speak English and French, Spanish, Portuguese, it's totally different.
Oh, you're really smart. You know a lot of languages.
No, yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm trying, but but I think if when I'm fluent with Spanish, then that's my goal. Like como nativo. So yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, thanks a lot for talking to me today. Thanks a
Thanks
lot
for
for
inviting me.
everything. Let me know what are your plans after like graduating and stuff like that. So are you gonna stay in like Utah when you graduate?
I'm open to go anywhere. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll just apply to a lot of positions when
Mm-hmm.
possible.
So are you planning to like stay in the US or are you planning to go back to El
Well,
Salvador?
maybe I would like to stay here just for my OPT,
Mm-hmm.
these 3 years, and then take experience and all that. And if possible, I would like to put a business there in my country, in El Salvador. But you never know, right? So
Nice, nice, nice. That's really nice. All right. Thank you, man. And I wish you all the best.
yeah, let's keep in contact.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's just keep in contact. All right.
Sure. Take
All
care.
right. Thank you. See ya.